Hey whiz kids, welcome back to my kitchen. So last time we made a brownie in a mug. This time we're going to be making individual chocolate chip cookies. Yum. This one is not a microwave recipe, we're going to be baking it in the oven. Super excited, guys. What we're going to start with today though is washing our hands, because of course that's the most important part of any baking and cooking. Brilliant. So once your hands are washed and dried and all nice and sparkly clean, I want you to turn on your ovens. We need to preheat them so that by the time we finish making the cookie dough, the oven is warm enough for the cookies to actually bake. So if you've got an electric oven, I want you to set it to the bake setting at 180 degrees Celsius. And if you've got a gas oven, I want you to set it to gas mark 4. So once you've turned on your oven, like I have here, I'm going to need you to get out a baking tray and line it with just a little bit of baking paper, like so. Once you've got your oven on to preheat and your baking tray is lined, we're ready to start. I'll just run through the list of ingredients with you quickly, and I will put up a list at the end of this segment just to reiterate what we need. So, first things first, we need some flour. Then we need some baking soda, not to be confused with baking powder. They play very different roles in baking. We need some vanilla essence, some salt, some brown sugar, an egg, some butter, and most importantly for this recipe, we need some chocolate. Now, feel free to use chocolate chips. They're the most logical option. I personally prefer my chunks to be different sizes, so I'm going to chop this up quickly. So once you've got your ingredients together, I'll run through the list of utensils. And again, I'll put a list at the end of the segment just to reiterate what we need. So for this recipe, we need a microwave-safe bowl, another smaller bowl to whisk your egg in. We need a set of measuring spoons, and we need a fork or a spoon, preferably a fork, to mix the dough together but also to whisk up the egg a little. We are ready to start. So I have chopped up my chocolate like I said I would. If you've got chocolate chips, that's brilliant. If you haven't got chocolate chips, just quickly chop up your chocolate. The next thing you want to do is cut up and weigh out 30 grams or 2 tablespoons of butter. What we're going to need to do with the butter is whack it in the microwave for just about 30 seconds, just until it's melted. By now you should have been on an adventure to the microwave, and your butter should be looking a little bit more like this, completely runny. That's exactly what we want. Next thing we're going to do is crack our egg into our bowl. The reason we do this is because this recipe requires 1 tablespoon of egg, but we want a mixture of both the yolk and the egg whites. So we need to mix it up in a bowl before we can add it to our baking. Alright, so let's get this egg cracked, right? You just want a little bowl. You just tap it on the side until it breaks and then open it out like that, straight into the bowl. Next thing we want to do is take our forks and just give it a quick little mix around until all of it is combined, like this. Alright, so the first thing that we want to do is put 3 tablespoons of light brown sugar into our bowl. So grab your tablespoon and some sugar and just start popping it in. After the brown sugar is added, we want to add our flour. Now for the flour, we need 5 tablespoons. So grab your tablespoons again, and as before, you just pull it out. You do want to make sure they're level, and then just go pop, like that. So 5, guys. Alright, I've got 5 in there now. On to the next thing. The next thing we want to add is our egg. So you've got it whisked already. All we need is 1 tablespoon. I pay to just use your finger a little bit or something like that, and then just pop that straight in the bowl like so, and that's all you need of the egg. Brilliant. Next we'll put in a pinch of salt. Generally I'll just stick it on my hand and then just take a literal pinch so that I'm not using too much of it. The final ingredients we need for right now are the vanilla and the baking soda. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about the chocolate, that just comes a little bit later. So we need a 1/4 teaspoon of the vanilla and an 1/8 of a teaspoon of baking soda. Now you don't want to put in too much baking soda because it gives cookies a really bad taste if there's too much of it. So do be careful to make sure it is just 1/8 of a teaspoon. Perfect, just like that. Cool. Next, what you want to do is take your fork and just mix it around until it's all combined, there's no more flour showing, and it forms a dough. Brilliant. So once you've mixed all of your ingredients together, it should look roughly like this. It'll be a little bit crumbly, but it should mostly stick together. The final thing we want to add, of course, is our chocolate chips. So we want 4 tablespoons of chocolate chips. Just put them straight in the dough, and then either using the fork again, or what I like to do is use my hands to just mix it all in. Brilliant. So once you put your chocolate chips in and mixed it together, it should look something like this. What we want to do next is bring it all together until it actually forms a ball. Now, I said it is a single serve, and it is, but for this I'm going to turn it into 2 so that I can have one and my flatmate can have one, and they're still going to be really decent sized cookies. So just roll it in your hands like so, flatten it out a little bit, and then pop it on your baking tray. And if you're making 2 like I am, do it again with the other one, but otherwise just do it once and put it in the center. If you're making more than one, make sure that you spread them out evenly, like so that if they spread while in the oven, they're not going to stick together. Next, we want to put them in the oven. So to be safe, I've got my oven mitts here. Also, what I forgot to mention at the start is make sure that your tray is sort of in the middle of the oven. We don't want it too high and we don't want it too low. And then just pop the cookies in the oven like so, shut the door, and off we go. So we're going to leave those cookies in the oven for 15 to 18 minutes. Just check it 15 minutes and then decide if you want them a little more cooked or if they're perfect for you. So for this part, we're going to need our protective mitts again. Make sure you check the cookies to see whether or not they're gooey enough. Alright, so that's the finished product. They taste good, they're really simple, really easy, don't take too long, so give it a go. Let me know what you think. Hope you guys are staying okay during this time, looking after yourselves, and having some fun while you do it. Alright, stay safe guys. See ya!